Welcome to the studio of Just Minding My Business Media, LLC. Today was new when you opened your eyes. When you close your eyes to sleep tonight, what will you say about this perfect day? Fire is never a gentle master. Today, Just Minding My Business Media, LLC is pleased to continue interviews with the contributing authors of the soon-to-be-released anthology, Forged by Fire, Built God Tough. Many times in life, in ways that are far from our comprehension, God employs trials to purify our hearts and refine our minds. Forged by Fire, Built God Tough is an all-female testament that illuminates the refining process. These 21 courageous women have been tried and tested through virtually unconquerable circumstances, but have emerged powerful, unrelenting, refined, and are sharing their stories as testimonies to God's miraculous power. So today we welcome Alicia Connolly, Pamela Connerly, Robin Connolly, Shadiria Allison, Tiffany S Carter, and Tysha Brewer Fields. Robin Connolly is a #1 best-selling author of Finally Free. She is the owner of Losing to Win, an online wellness platform with various options in maintaining optimal health. Robin believes in the power of our tailor-made, God-given voice and helping others to reclaim their voice because we will eat what we speak. She is the co-host of the YouTube podcast Shoot to Kill, where the aim is to shoot to kill negativity with the weapons of prayer, praise, and the Word of God. She is the executive director and co-owner of Park Academy and WPR, a nonprofit virtual K-12 academy. Now she lends her tailor-made, God-given voice to the soon-to-be-released anthology, Forged by Fire, Built God Tough. Welcome, Robin.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Miss Robin. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
I can't complain. The weather's getting good. We're able to move about now, so I'm pretty happy about that. So, tell us who Robin Connolly is. Tell us all about her.
Okay. Well, she read a little. What she didn't read is I have wonderful parents, Paulette and Robert Connolly. I'm the oldest of 5 girls, and I also have an older brother. I'm the co-owner and director of Park Academy, along with my sister Pamela Connerly, and also after school WPR. We opened up during the pandemic for the students who their parents didn't want them to go to school, but they wanted a safe place for them. So we opened up a place for them to come here, and we're still doing that now. And I also co-host the Shoot to Kill podcast with my sister Pamela, where we just take negativity and we shoot to kill it with the Word of God, prayer, and praise.
I know that's right. Shoot to kill it. I like that. So tell us give us a little bit of snippet of what's in your chapter.
Before Forged by Fire, the title of my chapter is The Refining Public, Personal, but Purposeful. No, public, painful, but purposeful. And in the chapter, I just talk about how God refined me and forged me to look more like Him by using a failed relationship. And I said public because the relationship ended publicly. And a lot of times, when things happen personally outside the public eye, it's easier to deal with. But for me, I had to deal with it publicly. And God used it to show me the things in me that weren't like Him. He showed me the cracks in my relationship with Him and just helped me to be a better me.
Okay. Won't He show you? For sure. Especially if you are open to, you have to be open, because a lot of times if you're not open to looking at the bad, the ugly, you know, then you can't grow. You
Yes.
can't grow as a person. You can't grow in your spiritual walk, because you have to be able to look at yourself from inside and evaluate and
Yes.
be, and that's the only way we're gonna fix ourselves.
Be
For
honest.
sure. And be honest about what's happening. And it's really important to be honest, because the more honest you are, the better off you're going to be.
Yes.
Yes. So I am looking forward to reading your chapter. I know it's going to be full of God anointed words, because all of you ladies that I've met you guys before and finally free, and you all changed our lives.
Wow.
And you all changed our lives. The stories were amazing. So we got some shout outs. We got good evening from Yinka. Hey, Yinka. We got Ketrice in the house. Hello, ladies. Robin.
I get you.
Hey.
Because I tell you, the title alone, I started not to do it, be in it. But, because you see Forged by Fire, that's not comfortable. But, it's necessary.
Oh, yeah. None of us is comfortable when you are exposing.
Yes. And that's the word I heard. With this relationship, when I made it through it, I was going to just leave it out there. But when I asked God what to talk about, he said, talk about that. And I was like, I was going to leave that alone. But, got to be obedient.
Oh, yeah, you do. Even though you're not feeling it, you got to do what God tell you to do, because your story is not really for you anyway. It's for somebody else.
You're right.
So if he tells you to tell it, that means he knows there's some souls out there that need to read it.
You're right.
For sure. So, Robin, it is always, always a pleasure. We enjoy having you on our platform, and we're looking forward to more collaborations, in which I know we're going to have.
We are. Thank you,
For
guys,
sure.
for opening up the door for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty now. Who do we have coming up next?
We have Pamela Connerly, who is
Ah,
an educator, business philanthropist, speaker, life enthusiast, with a God given ability to show others how to develop understanding. She is the CEO of the nonprofit LLPS Certified, which stands for Light, Love, Positivity, and Salt. Co-owner of the nonprofit Park Virtual Academy and After School WPR, and biological besties with her sister, Robin Connolly, as well as host of her virtual podcast, Shoot to Kill, via social media. Now she lends her enthusiasm to the soon to be released anthology, Forged by Fire, Built God Tough. Welcome, Pamela.
yes. Welcome, Pamela.
Thank
It's
you.
always a pleasure. I feel like I know the whole Connolly family now.
You're about right.
Yes, I'm like, I met you and Robin first, and now I'm seeing Alicia, and then I have yet to meet Mom, which I'm looking forward to. So I feel like I'm like part of the family now.
Yeah, your family.
For sure. So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, like she read, I co-own Virtual Academy. We call it Park. It stands for Pam and Robin Connolly Virtual Academy, which we started right after the pandemic started in 2020. And what we do is we provide a safe place, and we're very, strict on masks, and we have plexiglass dividers, and just a lot of different measures that made the families feel a little bit more safe than traditional school at the time. And so we opened up and we provided technology, I guess you could say overarching like tutoring, or just kind of make sure they stay in their lane, doing their work, listening to the teacher. And we don't replace the school district in any regard, but we only come under to help supplement and make sure that those children don't fall through the crack. And because if they would have been at home, some of them tried it at home and they didn't succeed. So we just wanted to be somewhere in between home and traditional school, that parents that had to work and couldn't stay at home with their children would feel safe during this pandemic time. Even though people are lessening up on the mask and everything right now, it's still the pandemic, and we still have children that started with us and they're pretty much finishing with us.
All righty. And you guys can hear all about this on our television show, Just Minding My Business, on Roku and Fire TV. We talked extensively with Pamela and Robin about their school. We actually loved it, and we feel like it was well past due, because even without the pandemic, we know these kids are falling through the cracks. Terrible.
They do.
But you have to meet. Yeah, because we know that it's something to be adopted in any school around the country.
It's breaking up a little.
Yeah, you're breaking up, Ida. Yes, you are. You're breaking up.
Okay, Mom, let me talk. I'll be broke.
Well, I also do an after-school program, WPR, with my sister, where we also open up for Safe Place to help, undergird the school system, or the parents as well, to make sure those kids don't fall through the crack as well. And we're just here to help youth and help them with their behavior, help them with their education success. And even though we're certified teachers, we're just doing it on a different scale, a different level, or in a different way.
Okay.
Yes. And I don't know if I can hear you yet or not.
Okay. Well, I'm going to just continue. Could you tell us a little bit about your chapter in the book that's going to be released soon?
I'm in Forged by Fire, Built God Tough, with the visionary author, Ketrice Keys. And my chapter's title is Refined for the Recirculation, the Marketplace.
Okay. All right. Tell us about that.
Well, we all know about the refiner's fire, and how, it's in the natural, it's really, 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 really hot. It's a really, really hot process where gold and metals are melted down to liquid. And when you can take gold and silver and things that are hard enough to break your teeth and melt it down to liquid, then that's some hot fire. But even in the spiritual realm, God refines us with these things that we go through in life, these afflictions or trials or tribulation or whatever you want to call them. And in my chapter, I kind of talk a little bit about how God refined me through a process of firing. And I promise I probably haven't told many people that. But anyway, and so with that firing, he fired my tail up and caused me to, my heart, there was a heart of stone to come and liquefy. And so that those impurities could rise to the top and he could dip them out. And after he did it one time, I was assuming that he was done. But no, he did it and did it over. And my fire has kept getting hotter and hotter and hotter, because those small things, they cause for a hotter fire. So even though when the big things rise, then it's going to come up a little bit hotter, so that those smaller things that we don't look at, I didn't look at, that nastiness in my soul, nastiness in my heart, that meanness, that pride, that fear of rejection, that fear, those things, he had to turn it up like 3 or 4 times to kind of let that rise up, because it was settling down. And there were times when I had been in the fire where I got off the fire and it re-solidified. And so because it re-solidified, it went back down to the bottom. But he had to turn the fire back up so he can bring those old things up and then get the new. So that's pretty much some of the things that I'm talking about in my chapter. And the reason why it's called Recirculation, the Marketplace, is because the metals, when they're refined, they were in circulation, but they got pulled out of circulation because of the impurities inside of them. and the devaluing process. And because of the devaluing process in my heart, there was a time I was pulled from the circulation in the spirit realm, and I know this to be the truth. And now God is trying to, because finally looking at myself and seeing me and allowing him to go in and get those ouch places, as I call them, and turn them hot, so he can get those things that have been pressed down and suppressed, and that I've overlooked, and that I've seemingly pushed down and out of sight, out of mind syndrome. And so I'm allowing him to get some of that. Oh, no, not some of it, all of it, all of it, so that I can be put back into the circulation of the spirit. Because when you're not in the circulation in the spirit realm, you'll know it. It's like what he told me. Pam, you are obese but malnourished. You're out of order and don't know it.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. Very powerful. It's just a pleasure to talk with you again. And this is a topic that I think many people, if they're thinking about it, will recognize that indeed, many times we don't really see ourselves as we are. We want to see ourselves as we think we are. And when you have an alignment and a love for God, he will reach down and refine you. I've called it God's 2x4. And sometimes he gives you a warning. You can feel the air brushing past you and you can ignore it. But eventually, because of who you are, the things that you need to work on, you will feel that. And you're going to have to stop and pay attention. And there are a lot of things within our character that each one of us needs to work on. And there are things that we just usually don't admit. So I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate your forthrightness. Letting God purify you, that force of fire with his spirit is a powerful experience. And it's one that's so needed to be shared because so many people don't see that sometimes the trials and tribulations we go through, because God is refining us. He's just refining us. And he does it because he loves us. He knows what we can be. And he wants us to be our best. So he allows things to happen. He doesn't cause them, but he'll allow them. And then he'll show us the wisdom that we gather from it. Pamela, I know you've got to run because I know you have a previous engagement, but I thank you and your sister for stopping by and sharing with us. And we look forward to many more times when we get together.
Yes.
And just following your paths, the paths that you both have, as wonderful educators and committed women who are doing the work on themselves so that they can really help others. So thank you so very, very much. We look forward to seeing you again.
Yes, thank you, Pam. Thank you, Pamela and Robin. Love y'all.
Love you.
Love you guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay.
All right. Well,
that was powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to simmer on that a little bit.
Yeah, indeed.
And it's so true. It's so true.
And we all need it. We all need to be refined. None of us is in a situation where we can talk about how wonderful we are. Every time we think we are, we find out something comes up to show us exactly who we are.
Oh, yeah. And it's always work to do. Always work. I think we're going to be working on ourselves till they put us in the ground.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's always something to do.
And part of it is that it takes a lot of humility. It takes humility. And that's the one thing most people choose, pride versus humility. And it takes humility to be honest about yourself. So I really appreciate what was just said. They're just a wonderful family, as we shall soon find out. But a lot of wisdom and givingness in that family. So we're going to hop to someone else right now. We're going to hop to Dr. Shadaria Allison, who is a 3-time international best-selling author, speaker, wordsmith, and multi-dimensional business consultant. Her portfolio reflects a millennial entrepreneur of epic proportions. Dr. Allison has a place in a myriad of professional and creative vernaculars, including the beauty industry, public relations, consulting, music and writing expertise. Known affectionately as Dr. Allison, the beauty practitioner, she now lends her striking abilities as a contributing author to the soon-to-be-released anthology, Forged by Fire, Built God Tough. Welcome, Dr. Allison. And
Thank
forgive
you
me
so
for
much.
messing up your name.
Hey, you know what? I told my mom, I said, you've given me no ambiguity. People are going to know my heritage, and they're going to have a hard time with that name. So it's okay. It's
You're
okay.
beautiful, though.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank
So
you so
I am glad that you're here, and all of your beautiful work is all over Facebook.
Mm.
You know, just so you know, Shadiria does all of the book covers and more and all of the different graphics that you see on Facebook for the anthologies. And I'm here to tell you, you are the bomb.com.
Thank you so. Y'all gotta forgive me because Pam just like totally touched me. I'm like trying to hold back tears right now. So her message just tore me up back here. So thank you so much. And every time people say that to me, I don't really know how to take it because when people say it's God and it being, religious, I'm so for real. It's all God. He'll give my hand and say, do this. The next thing I know, I'm all of a sudden creating something from his hand. So I'm really thankful to be here. Thank you, ladies.
Yes, we are thankful to have you. So tell us just a little bit about who Dr. Shadira is.
Mm. Uh, that question always gets me, even on job interviews when they used to ask me, I was like, well, I'm gonna say above all things, I'm a bona fide creative. You know, I can be put in one box only in terms of my heart. Like I love people, and that's something solid. That's across the board. That's just who I am. But when it comes down to what I provide, I'm just like I've become a great resource to the creative journey of entrepreneurs, and I love people. I love creating business ideas and crafting beautiful things out of nothing. So yeah, I'm gonna say I'm a diehard creative out of everything I do.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And you can see it in everything that you did that you really love to create. So give us a little snippet about your chapter in Forged by Fire.
My chapter is called Forced by the Forge and I Want the Smoke. I named it that because, interesting enough, God has taken my life and kind of recreated it. From the bottom, I was a teen homeless mom. I went through an abusive marriage, and I went from living house to house and very unstable into this philanthropic figure, going to school, becoming an honorary doctor, and kind of working what people would say the marketplace, I just call the world, with the industry, and going out here and actually having a facelift to my life, glory be to God, but still dealing with fire. I tell people it's the difference from being on fire and in fire. On fire is when you kind of doing your own thing and you creating your own hell for yourself. And then in the fire, when God is pruning you and turning you into his image, like Pamela discussed, getting the infirmities, getting the things out, the impurities, out of the dross so that you can become, a worksman, a tool. And so I basically kind of edify that you don't ever stop. That just because he can take your life and paint a picture and make it look different does not mean that there will not be adjustments. God was a carpenter. And so he's always perfecting something until its greatest form. And so I kind of let people know the heartbreaks that I've endured that caused me to create beauty. I tattooed beautiful on my wrist in my 20s because had such low self-esteem from abusive relationships and self-rejection that I had to tattoo it on me so I can remind myself that I'm a lover of beauty and I'm beautiful. I share with readers the journey of being imperfect so that we can understand that God is a transitional God. We get this really bad idea about the miraculous being instantaneous, but when you're being delivered, when you are being carried through fire, it is a transitional. So to those who were able to catch me through those stages, I wanted to show them what it looked like from being on fire to in fire to be used for his glory. And so that's pretty much what I talk about.
Wow. Wow. That is just so moving.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You
That's
know,
so true.
it is so true and so moving. I'm telling you, this book, people gonna be on fire, literally.
Since
Literally.
I joined this group, I told I call her Miss Ketrice. I told her this morning, I said, I've never been so challenged by God on an anthology project in my life, because I don't get to do a lot with the girls, so I'm always behind the scenes creating. But God literally took me through the ringer during this book. I was like, okay, God, what are you doing to me and for me? People in my family kept dreaming about fire. They had no idea I was a part of this anthology. I told Ketrice she is delivering women while giving us the opportunity to share our story.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And it's amazing because as the authors in this book, you guys are getting delivered, and just wait until people begin to read it. How many people's lives are going to be transformed because you guys had the courage to put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is going to really change a lot of people around the world. And I just love being a part of you guys' life. And every time I get to talk to everybody, it's like I feel something different. I always feel something different. It always adds another, what can I say? I'm just lost for words right now because all of these stories are so powerful and moving, very
It's
moving.
perspective. Perspective gives you how God I always kind of look at people in the Bible. You see, God didn't use Moses the same way he used Peter, the same way he used David or Samuel. It's the eclecticism of God. God is a creator. So where he's got somebody on fire in one place, he's got another, and they all come out looking differently, but they all come out looking what he imagined them to be. We created from his image. So I think what you're saying is just the perspectives of how God is arranging all of his children, but different fires bring out different things. It's a powerful experience.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
it is. Yes, it is. And we are so blessed to be in this position to be able to share with our audiences uh, all of the magic that's happening, all the transformation that's happening, even just through these conversations, a life has been touched.
Mm.
Somebody has heard their story coming from your lips. And that is probably one of the most powerful experiences you can have, especially if you've been hiding from yourself. To hear
Mm.
your story come out of somebody else's mouth, it is just, it's powerful. And if you pay attention to what you've heard and the way it makes you feel and the things that it brings up into you, then you make space for God to enter in, his spirit to enter in and do the work. That's where the fire comes, not just in the hearing of it, but listening and becoming a doer of what's put in front of you. So I
Mhm.
congratulate you on doing that and commend you highly for it. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much, Dr. Shadir. We
you.
really
Yeah, so
appreciate
guys,
you.
thank you guys, and that's so
Thank you.
true.
And we're
Thank you.
looking forward. I'm so glad we finally met. And I'm
Mm.
looking forward to what God has in store next.
Yes,
Mhm.
ma'am. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you for your
Thank
wisdom.
you. Thank you.
You're welcome, sweetie.
Wow. I'm telling you, power and more power.
Yeah, there's power in his word. And if
Yes,
you
it
pay
is.
attention and you become a doer of his word, then it will have that cathartic effect.
Yes, it will.
Mm,
Yes, it will.
okay.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I know we have to move on, but just before we do, I just want a little reminder here that Just Minding My Business Media LLC is a known entity in the digital marketing arena, from podcasts to promotions, commercials, and mega exposure on social media and now TV. 10x your business starting today with digital marketing from Just Minding My Business Media, LLC, on JMB Media TV or Mindset Movers TV. Learn more. Contact us at jmnbradio@gmail.com. Our next person is Tiffany S Carter, who is a wife, mother, entrepreneur, and author, podcaster, and motivational speaker. She is the owner of Diversified Marketing and Consulting Group, LLC, author of Broken, 7 Steps to Healing While Grieving, the host for Tiffany Talks Real Conversations with Tiffany podcast. She is also a hospice care coordinator. Tiffany has an ambitious spirit and love for God and is dedicated to building legacies, not only within her own family, but in the community through education. Today, Tiffany adds to that legacy building as a co-author in the soon-to-be-released anthology, Forged by Fire, Built God Tough. Welcome, Tiffany.
Hello, Miss Tiffany. How are you?
Hi, Queens. How are you?
Good. I finally get to meet you.
I know. Nice to meet you guys. Well, ladies.
Yes.
It's okay.
So just tell us who Tiffany is. Just give us who she is.
Well, actually who Tiffany is, Tiffany has just understood who she was and all the things I've been through in life. Like, Forged by Fire is basically the topic of my life. When I was 10 years old, I was in a coma, had to deal with that. Then just dealt with a lot of deaths, the passing of my dad suddenly, being a single mother, just going through trying to break the barriers of poverty while going through single motherhood, but staying encouraged and not, the stereotype, oh, this bitter mother or, single mother, and just staying focused, not only for myself, because I feel you cannot give from a cup if it's empty. So I just try to fill myself up daily and be first and foremost the best Tiffany I could be, because I can't give anybody what I don't have. And if I'm the best Tiffany, that means I'm the best mother, I'm the best wife, I'm the best daughter, I'm the best friend, I'm the best sister. But also before all of that, I'm the best who God has who God has Tiffany to be. So Tiffany is definitely a girl that I say, like, there's the book of Job, there's a book of Matthew. Honey, I'm waiting for God to say, girl, you have a book of Tiffany, okay? Because I've been through some stuff, honey. I've been through some stuff. So I was in life insurance broker for 7 years, been to 100 funerals from the city of Atlanta, but now I reside in Huntsville, Alabama, back and forth and Atlanta. So, I've just been on the move, becoming an author. This would be my second book, and it just keeps going. I'm excited.
We can tell.
Yes. So give us a little snippet of your chapter in Forged by Fire.
So, when Ketrice Keys, which is the visionary, thank you so much for the opportunity to even be on a book like this. Her sister actually suggested, she said, you're going to be good for this book, And when I read the title, I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely me, because I was just coming out of losing over 20 family and friends to COVID. My daughter was severely sick in ICU. She was in the basically facing death, my 15-year-old. So at that time, I felt like I was just in the fire, but it was the thing of not about being in the fire. It was like, like Shadrach, Meshach, and the bitty goat. Like, God said, even though you're going through the fire, Tiffany, you're going to go through the flood because I need to use you, right? Mm-hmm. So, but I need you to focus, because you're not going to get burnt. And see, my daughter was supposed to not be here. And so then I wrote about my mom, how I had to take care of my mom and change my career and all these things that were uncomfortable with me as a single mother having faith. Not only am I taking care of my kids, now I'm taking care of my mom, and she has this illness. Then my daughter is going deaf. All these things that began to happen over these 2 years. But then I'm standing right here And I haven't fallen, but it's only by the grace of God, because I believe Romans 8:28. And even though I couldn't see, I just knew God had me, because some people might talk about Job and talk about all that he lost. But God just wanted me to tell people, just like my sister said, this is not a God of just fear. This is not a God of just pain. This is a God of restoration. This is a God of supernatural. This is a God of healer. So my title is, even though I went through the fire, I'm not burnt. I'm just better. I'm just better. I'm better. I'm better like diamonds. I'm just better. So I'm glad that I have the opportunity to share my story. And that's where I kept going, because it was times that I wanted to give up. And I thought in the future, like this moment right here, no, I could have not imagined it the way that the story is unraveling. But I did have a vision. And I knew once Tiffany decided to start telling her story, it was other women that was going to start telling their story, and other men that was going to start telling their story, then children. So I just knew that if I wanted to be used by anybody on this world, I want to be first used by God. I want to be used by God. No strings attached. It's going to be overflowing, overflow. And that's all that's been happening. I'm just in a season of overflow. Even though it felt like I got burned, I'm just in a season of restoration. Even though all these things been taken away from me, I'm just in a season of increase. And I want everybody that touched me, touch the power of God, of that increase. I just want it. And I'm glad that I chose Godwin, but he kept choosing me. I just chose him back.
Wow.
So much what you said. So much what you said. One, no matter what we go through, when we go through it with God, sometimes when we first start, we don't realize that God's in the picture. But after a moment, we stop and think, and we realize, I can't get through this without God. So, God, help me. No bargaining, just help me. So at the end of it, you're still standing. And what I loved what you said too, is that when a forest fire takes away all the trees, it's within hours, within days, literally, that new things start growing. The fire fertilizes the land. Doesn't destroy it, it just fertilizes it. And new things begin to grow up. And that's powerful. That is so powerful, because so many people feel that they've been burnt in the fire and they will never, ever get up again. And they're done that, so many people have. But many people feel that once they're burnt by the fire, they will never, ever get out of it. And that simply is not true. Because if you trust in God, he will lift you up. And he will make something new grow that you never expected before. Just like for you, like when you're talking about your daughter and losing 20 family members in COVID, how devastating is that? But it hasn't broken your faith. People allow things like this to break their faith. Instead, you just grabbed hold of God's hand and said, take me through it. And here you are. And look at you. You're giving this wonderful testimony that many people are going to read and say, somebody else has been through this. Just like me. And they're going to get faith and get strength and be able to get up. Just because they know that you got up.
Yep. And that definitely, before you go to the next person, but what I want to leave everyone with, because of when we're talking about the fire, one thing that I went through, and I just want to share this across, whoever needs to hear it. But when I went through my daughter, just, crying out to God to save my daughter this year, this didn't happen 2 years ago, this year, crying in the ICU, God just said, it's time to detach. So I was like, detach. Why would I give up the most thing that came through me? And he said, it's not about what's coming through you. It's what's happening to you. So I need you to detach. So when, this forged by fire, you can't really run with a lot of baggage. And what God has told me through going through the COVID and all these things that has happened, the losses I know people have job losses of loss after loss. what he said is, if you detach from all these things in the world, when it tears away from you, you knew it wasn't yours anyways. So you walk in of assurance that regardless of what happens to me, like even if my daughter, I came into the I relinquished control of my child. But what that has helped me to do now, that has helped me to write Forged by Fire. That has helped me to write another book and another book, because what I realize is power in the detached. It's power in relinquished control. Because if you want to be forged by fire, if you want to be made a diamond, first you have to let somebody hold the rock to get assembled, to put the pressure, and you have to allow God to put the pressure on the thing. And like one of my sisters said, he said, I just want to give you something new. And so there's power in the detached. There's power in the detached. So remember, my chapter is, we ain't burnt, we just better. We better.
All right.
We better.
I love it.
All right.
I love it. Yes. Yes. I liked how you put the detached.
Mhm.
That's definitely, I'll be simmering on that tonight.
Thank you.
I like that. Yeah, because
Mhm.
none of these things in the world is ours.
Nope.
We're just here for a short period of time anyhow. And we ain't taking nothing with us.
Nothing
Right.
but this character and this heart.
That's
Yes.
right.
What we have accomplished spiritually, that we take with us. The rest gets left behind.
Right behind.
Absolutely.
Gets left behind.
Wow. Woo.
All right.
Right over here.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, queens.
Thank
I'm
you. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. I'm so glad to finally meet you.
Nice meeting you, queens. Be blessed.
Okay, sweetie.
All right. Bye-bye.
Oh my God.
Whew. All
I'm
righty.
on fire over here.
I'll tell you.
I'm telling you, it's a lot of power in the house.
Yes, indeed.
Oh
These are
my
going to be
God.
powerful stories, a powerful, powerful book. And I hope
Yes.
everyone who's watching this makes it a point to purchase it and to read it thoughtfully. Not just to read to be reading, but to read it thoughtfully. There's something in here for you.
Yes.
Guaranteed. There's something in here for you. Okay, we have Alicia Connolly, who is a pastor's wife, a mother, an author, speaker, STEM educationalist, facilitator, and the proud CEO and founder of Push for Science Educational Consulting Services, LLC, an advocacy specialty functioned to create, inform, and resource many with the tools and knowledge necessary in understanding the fundamental importance of STEM education. She is the current principal of Monticello Elementary School. Now she lends her voice to the soon-to-be-released anthology, Forged by Fire, Built God Tough. Alicia Connolly, leader, educationalist, humanitarian. Welcome.
Yes.
Hello, ladies.
Hello, Miss Alicia, because I've been
Yes.
saying it wrong all night.
It's okay.
Welcome. We got to talk a little while, a few months ago, a couple weeks ago, I think we got to talk. And tell us who Alicia is.
Well, I am who God says I am. One thing I don't like to do is get caught up in titles, because those can be easily removed. But I always tell people, whatever God says I am, or whoever God says I am, that's exactly who I am. And I always like to be one of those people who is his chosen, and not one who is just sent. I want to be chosen. And so with that, yes, I'm a humanitarian. Yes, I'm a first lady. I'm a mother, but I am a child of the King. And so that's who Alicia is, a child on the King, a mission to not only help win souls for Christ, but to keep souls with Christ. Because sometimes it's easy to catch them, Miss Ida and Miss Ruth, sometimes, but it's hard to get us to stay. So I am who and what God says I am.
All righty now.
Right.
I like that. So give us a little snippet of your chapter in Forged by Fire.
All right, ladies. Well, the title of my chapter is When I Learned to Trust the Refiner. And my theme scripture from that is Zechariah 2:5. And it just talks about for I said the Lord will be unto her a wall of fire round about, and will be the glory in the midst of her. Because in my chapter, God literally built a wall of fire around me, and he did not allow anyone to assist, come get some water, put the air conditioner on. He did not let anyone touch me because he wanted the fire to do exactly what it's supposed to do. He wanted it to burn away everything that was not like him. There were a lot of impurities. In my chapter, you will learn some things that a lot of people will be surprised about. Like, no, not the first lady. No, not a mother. No, yes. Because we live in this bubble of, oh, I've never went through anything. I have a story, but I'm not going to share it with anyone. No, God ordained and declared and decreed that I had to release part of my testimony, because he said people's lives are attached to it. Their lives are hanging in the balance for you to tell your story and tell the truth. Because a lot of us are telling stories, but we're not telling the truth. We're telling it through someone else's eyes. So in this, you will see the transparency of me, and you have to, one thing about a fire, it will burn away your shield. It will burn away your net, your safety net. Ladies, all of that is gone in my portion of this book. It's gone. I have no safety net. I have no shield. I have no covering, because of the fact he burned all of that away. And he said, yes, you're going to be naked, because it's time to expose the enemy for who and what he is. He's a lie, and he's built lies within us that we don't need to tell it. But because of this anthology, we better tell it. We better tell it. Pull the covers off and tell it, because people are dying because we are not telling what we have been through, because they feel that they can't live up to the standard. So in my portion of this book, the standard is the fire. The standard is the fire, and that's the consuming fire of God.
I so much love that. So many things that you said. I am excited to read your chapter. Oh my goodness. It's going to be a powerhouse. And again, people are going to read it, and some of them are going to be like, oh, can't stand the fire. I think I'll just leave, because what you're saying is true. When we are willing to stand naked in front of God and admit to who we are, and that means everything that's come in our lives, say this is it. And what's so strange is that God already knows. He already knows, but he's waiting for us to be honest enough to literally accept our lives, and then take that information and turn it into something of value that somebody else can benefit from. Our lives are not for ourselves.
They are not.
They're for other people, and our stories are how we can do that. I can't wait to read your chapter.
I know. I can't wait. All of these, everybody is fire.
Yeah.
Because we're being delivered, Miss Ida. You cannot go through a fire and not experience some type of deliverance.
You got that right.
I don't dare want to get burned and don't get some freedom out of it. I hate having to repeat a test. I hate failing a test. So if it requires me to get burned in a different area so I won't have to repeat it, Lord, okay, go ahead. I am in your hands. I am at your will. Your will be done, not mine. And when we say that and mean it, that's why I'm tired of so many of the believers, the Sadducees and the Pharisees is what I call us.
Yes.
That we try me, Lord. Okay. And when he do, they run
the opposite way as fast as they can. They
do
a Jonah.
My desire is not to be an Israelite to where I have to spend 40 days on an 11-day journey. I don't want to be a Sadducee or a Pharisee where if I'm giving lip service. No.
Yeah, it's so important. I know people are watching this and they're thinking, there are a whole lot of thoughts floating around. There are a lot of people who have turned off and won't watch because there is a lot of God talk.
Yes.
And what you're saying is so true, is that we have so many people who talk about God, but
We
they
got
don't
that
do
down.
anything that God asked them to do. And it's right there. They say that they read the Bible, but they do
Yes.
not and will not do what's in the Bible. They
Yes.
want to do what they want to do, and they'll tell God that he has to accept it. And God is like not having it. And he
No, not.
in
Oh,
so many stories. Deliverance and freedom. Thank you, Ketrice.
yes.
Yes,
Yes.
he wants us to be free. Our
Yes.
ultimate freedom is in the future, but he wants us to begin to reach for that freedom. And that
Yes.
freedom can only come when we accept our lives, accept what has happened to us,
Yes.
and actually just thank God for the fact that we're still standing and able to carry on another day and maybe do a little bit better than we did 10 years ago or 15 or 20 years ago.
Miss Ruth and Miss Ida, we better be doing better than what we did last
Yeah.
year.
Oh, yesterday.
Yesterday.
I'm going yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
When I woke up this morning. Because one thing about, I had to tell a lady today, she was like, I haven't talked to you in so long. I said, ma'am, if you were talking to me since talking to me from last year, that is a blessing, because we now have a scale of how many hundreds of thousands of lives have been lost. And we better be better than what we were before this hour just came up. There is always room in God to do and be better. That's part of being in the fire. When you learn to trust God, you learn to trust him with your better. Like Miss Tiffany just said, better. We have to get better than being burnt.
Yes.
If not, what's the point?
Oh, there is none.
Right. That's
None.
right.
It's a refining process.
Yes.
It's digging deep
Yes.
and looking at it and not pointing fingers at the rest of the world and other people.
Yes.
It's about looking at ourselves, taking that deep, painful dive. And I always call it going into the cave and inspecting every rock and turning over every
To be
stone.
turned over.
And sometimes it's what you find underneath is not pretty. But
Nope.
that's why we go into that cave. That's why we're put in the fire.
Yes.
To be able to turn over those pieces, to be able to find what needs to be changed. And when we ask God for help, then he steps in and he says, okay, since you are willing, you are now willing, here I am. And we can start working on that.
Every hidden thing.
Overnight miracles. And no matter what we do, we'll never be perfect in this life, but he's asking us to grow towards our perfection.
Yes.
Because he loves us and he knows what he intended for humans to be. He knows what he intended each one of us to be. And he wants that for us so badly. And the fire is what does it. You know, going into that cave and digging deep, turning over those stones and going, saying, God, please help me.
Yeah.
And you know what, Miss Ruth, when you just said what you said concerning it doesn't happen overnight. If you think about with a fire, if you're outside and you're burning some stuff, you may see that 3 days later the fire is out, but you see smoke coming from way over somewhere else. And then you realize there's still something that needs to be burned away. With some of us, we just going through a little smoke because he said, oh, wait a minute, you need to get that burned away as well. You thought that was done with? No, there's some smoke over there. And I'm letting you know, and I'm reminding you that there's an impurity that you haven't even thought about or that was embedded, because there are some deep impurities that we have had, and that's mine from birth. My impurity started at birth. So there, and I am 39 years old, and God has had to take in 39 years of burning. So no, there was a little smoke over in the corner to where the fire hadn't even got yet, that he said, there's some burning that needs to be done over here. So every area of our lives needs just a little bit of smoke so that fire can spark up. He said, burn it away. You thought that was all right? Nope, burn it away. You got a little bit of hatred, burn it away. There's a little smoke. Woo! Burn it away.
That's right. If y'all don't get built, then burn it away.
Yeah. We'll be here all night.
Yes.
It's so true. It's so true. I've enjoyed all of these conversations. I've enjoyed our conversations. This is our second conversation with you. And it was a pleasure the first time. It's an absolute marvel this time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies.
Yes, indeed. I'm telling you, I'm on fire. You guys done got me over here eating up.
Okay.
To God be the glory.
Yes, indeed. So thank you so much, Alicia.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Mwah.
Okay. Love you. Take care.
Love you. Thank y'all.
All righty. Well, do you need some water?
I do. Let me. I do.
Oh, my.
Good thing I got some sitting here.
Yeah.
Wow. What a night.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have one left.
Yes. Before I got on this, came in the studio, I was feeling some kind of way, and these ladies have definitely put that out for sure.
Yeah. There's power in the word of God. It's like
Yes,
a
it
two-edged
is.
sword, and it will pierce you to the marrow of the bone. And
Yeah.
that's what these ladies are doing. They're using the word of God and their faith to help people cut through, burn through the dross, and so that they can see their own beauty. I think a lot of people go through life never witnessing the beauty that they have inside of themselves.
Yes.
You know, and that's what the honesty and the hard work begins to reveal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it begins to reveal who we really are. I always say the me that I am, the me that I truly am, not the me that you see, not the me that I think that I am or that you think that I am, but the me that I am. That's the me that God knows. And
Right.
that's the me that he wants to be revealed to me. Because I need to see myself. We all need to see ourselves.
Yes.
You know, it makes a difference in the way that we approach the world.
It really does.
Yeah.
It does.
Oh my, we can just go on. But
I
anyway,
know.
let's get Tysha Brewer Fields up to the mic. She is an author, speaker, certified mental health proponent, and CEO and founder of Glowing Through Concrete LLC, a mental health specialty. She is committed to watching others bloom, both growing and glowing through life's concrete, those attitudes imposed by various stigmas and blockages associated with stereotypical approaches in mental health. Tysha is creating a credible legacy centered around mental health awareness. Now she adds to that credible legacy by lending her voice to the soon to be released anthology, Forged by Fire, Built God Tough. Welcome, Tysha.
Yes. Welcome, Taisha. I think your mic is muted. All right, we get to see the hand. How you doing?
Hi, ladies.
Hi.
I'm doing just wonderful. How about you?
I'm doing good.
So tell us who Taisha is.
So, like Miss Ruth said, Tysha is an author, speaker, compassionate mental health advocate, but most of all, I am a servant and vessel of God because I don't do anything without Him saying so.
I know that's right. And that's the best way to be. I'm with you on that. I always
Right.
ask, Lord, is this what I'm supposed to be doing?
Yeah. God, what am I supposed to be doing next?
Right.
What's the next right thing?
Yes, for sure. Because I mean, I know as soon as I put me in it, it's a purity mess.
Right.
Yeah.
Purity mess. So
Mm-hmm.
give us a little snippet about your chapter in Forged by Fire.
Okay, so the title of my chapter is From Prison to Purpose. And I talk about being in a mental hospital, which felt like being stuck in prison after a suicide attempt. And it was just when God revealed to me that I wasn't stuck in a prison. I was being forged in a fire for a purpose.
Mm.
Okay.
And what was that purpose?
To help save souls, win souls for him. And I like what Alicia said a while ago. I think it was Alicia that said it. It's not just to win souls, but to keep souls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit more about your story that made you want to go forward with this project. What was the impetus for doing this project?
So I hadn't been too long gotten out of the hospital when I seen the post about it, and I had already been doing like some mental health stuff. I had hosted some events and stuff before, so I had a mental relapse, and then it's like the enemy kept telling me that I didn't have a voice, or like it didn't matter anymore because I had relapsed and I was supposed to be the one that was doing all this for other people, the other people that was hurting. And so God came, he just showed me that I do have a voice through Ketrice, and I so appreciate her for this project. It's very much needed.
You know, I really admire you and commend you, Tysha. You are talking out about a human experience which is growing in its velocity and numbers that it's encompassing. Mental health is a really big issue. They're
Right.
now calling it the pandemic after the pandemic because so many people have been impacted in ways that have affected their mental health. Many people don't even realize it's their mental health. And I
Mhm.
remember from something else that you shared with us that uh, people tend to stigmatize people who have a known mental health issue,
Right.
and they
Mhm.
don't understand it when people begin to show signs of mental health issues. So
Right.
now you're someone who's already gone through the fire. You attempted to commit suicide. So there was something going on prior to that. You ended up in a mental institution and you
Mhm.
experienced that, which you may want to talk about a little bit. Now you're on the outside and you're trying to help others.
Right.
Help others to understand what to do if they see their loved ones going down for the count, and how to look actually for signs that they are going down. Maybe it's they think that their people are just isolated, but loneliness, anxiety, all of that can contribute to a mental breakdown. And that's what we're going to have to look at in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Please
It's
talk to
about bringing
people about
awareness.
what to look for. Please look for these signs. Can you tell them what to look for?
Um, some common signs are, I know you mentioned this, is being isolated, not wanting to do activities that you normally do, not being able to take care of the normal daily functions, even as simple as your hygiene, like taking showers, eating, stuff like that.
Okay. So those are some of the things that people really need to pay attention to. If they call someone and they say, oh, they ask them, did you take a bath today? And they say, oh, no, I've not done it for a couple of weeks. It's like,
Right.
that's an indicator. If they're
Mm-hmm.
saying that they're not eating well, I
Mm-hmm.
just don't feel like eating. I don't feel like cooking. Have you ordered out? Nah, I just don't feel like it. Those are indicators.
Right.
Offer them the opportunity to go out and be with someone or be on a phone or something like that, then again, and they're like, no, I just don't want to go out. It's a beautiful day, but I don't want to go out. Those are the
Mm-hmm.
indicators. Now,
Yeah.
let me ask you one more question. When you were approaching that moment when you attempted to take your life, can you look back and see some of the indicators? What were the indicators for you in retrospect?
I can. One of the main ones was really just feeling really overwhelmed to the point where nothing helped. Like taking a break didn't help. I was always overwhelmed, not wanting to be bothered, having a hard time getting out of bed, regretting to see morning come, ready to see night come. I just couldn't function.
Wow. I don't know whether you know it, but you have helped, if anyone who listens, you may have helped millions of people just by that.
And that's the main thing.
Yes, millions of people, because millions of people are experiencing just that overwhelm. Overwhelm is like something that people are not looking at as a mental health, a precursor to mental health breakdown. So thank you so much for sharing that so honestly and so well.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. Thank
And
you for having me.
it's always a pleasure.
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you. All righty, darling.
That's it. We're done. But we have built a fire in the studio. I hope people come and warm their feet by it, their hands, their hearts, their minds, and open up
Yes.
to all the possibilities of what God can and will do for you. What God
Yes.
can and will do for you. And you can see it in these ladies. They've experienced it. And oh my goodness, this has been wonderful. This has
This has
really
been
been wonderful. And
very, very
it's funny
wonderful.
because I was feeling some kind of way when I came to the studio too. I was exhausted. I was frustrated.
Same here.
That whole long list, and
Yes,
I feel rejuvenated.
for sure.
Just a fabulous evening. Thank you so so much, ladies.
Yes, it really has been a wonderful evening. And Ketrice, thank you so much for this vision that you had, because these women that said yes, they definitely belong in this book, without
Mhm.
doubt. They definitely. I mean, just sitting here listening to them, it's just so moving. It's just so moving. Dan, we definitely thank you for all that you do. And thank you to all of the ladies that said yes. And thank you, audience, for definitely tuning in. We truly appreciate you as well, because these messages are for all of us.
Yes.
So thank you.